The deadline is days away. But the bombs keep falling, Trump warns. Putin advances. And in Kyiv, Zelensky demands regime change in Moscow. Ceasefire talks stall. Sanctions loom. Nuclear subs reposition. This isn't peace, it's a countdown. This is VERTEX. And the war hasn't paused, it's preparing for what comes next. The deadline is set. The war continues. With US President Donald Trump's August 8th ceasefire ultimatum looming, Russian President Vladimir Putin shows no signs of pulling back. Instead, he's doubled down, both on the battlefield and at the negotiating table. On August 1st, Putin said peace talks with Ukraine would continue, but made it clear Russia's military objectives remain unchanged. He made the statement far from the front lines, at a monastery on Lake Ladoga, seated next to Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko.
Only recently, our foes and ill-wishers spoke about the necessity to defeat Russia on the battlefield. Today, they have a single but a burning passion: to stop our advance in Ukraine at any cost. I repeat once again, we need lasting and durable peace.
But while Putin spoke of peace, Russian missiles struck Kyiv once again. A nighttime drone attack killed 26 civilians, including 3 children, and injured over 150. The strikes came just days after Moscow claimed to have seized Chasiv Yar, a symbolic stronghold after a 16-month battle. Ukraine disputes full Russian control, but the momentum is clearly shifting. Trump responded with fury. From the Oval Office, he called Russia's latest actions disgusting and warned that sanctions are coming, even as he admitted they may fail.
We have about 8 guys. Yeah, we're going to put sanctions. I don't know that sanctions bother him. You know, they know about sanctions. I know better than anybody about sanctions and tariffs and everything else. I don't know if that has any effect, but we're going to do it.
Privately, White House officials say Trump is frustrated. His special envoy Steve Witkoff's recent trip to Moscow yielded no progress. And with just days remaining, the West is bracing for the possibility that Putin will call Trump's bluff. As Moscow talks peace and Kyiv counts its dead, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is demanding something more: a direct meeting with Putin. He says Ukraine is ready for leader-level talks at any time, a shift away from back-channel diplomacy and failed technical negotiations.
We understand who makes decisions in Russia and who must end this war. The whole world understands this too. Ukraine proposes moving beyond exchanging statements and technical-level meetings to leader-level talks. America has proposed this. Ukraine has supported it. Now Russia's readiness is needed.
But Zelensky isn't just pushing for dialogue. He's calling for the world to consider regime change in Moscow, arguing that any deal that leaves the Kremlin's current structure intact will only fuel future wars. That warning has found traction in Brussels, Paris, and NATO headquarters, where officials accuse Moscow of using peace talks as cover for escalation. Meanwhile, Trump's position has shifted. After entering office skeptical of Ukraine's standing, he now threatens broad secondary sanctions, not just on Russia, but on countries that buy its oil: China, India, and Turkey. But enforcing those sanctions may be harder than announcing them. Steve Witkoff is set to return to Moscow soon, but few expect a breakthrough. As the clock ticks down, the war barrels forward, and across Ukraine, the bombs are still falling. Ukrainian president, during an address at the Helsinki Accords conference, demanded regime change in Russia, stating that,
if the world doesn't aim to change the regime in Russia, that means even after the war ends, Moscow will still try to destabilize neighboring countries.
Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump, on August 1st, said he had ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in regions near Russia in response to threats from former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev.
I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions. just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. Words are very important and can often lead to unintended consequences. I hope this will not be one of those instances.
Donald Trump has drawn a line, but Vladimir Putin isn't blinking. Despite a war that has cost more than 1 million Russian casualties, driven inflation to record highs, and triggered an exodus of young Russians, Putin believes time is on his side. Drone attacks on Ukrainian cities continue. Russian forces inch forward in the Donbas. His message? The war is painful, but still winnable. Ian Bremmer, editor-at-large at Time, analyses that Putin believes time is still on his side. Trump's options? Limited. There's little direct US-Russia trade to sanction. And while Trump warns of tariffs on Chinese or Indian oil imports, few believe he'll risk alienating two of his biggest geopolitical partners. Even Kyiv has stopped treating Trump's pressure as decisive. His zigzagging policy, first distant, now aggressive, has made Washington harder to trust. And that, analysts say, may be the real danger. Putin isn't betting on victory, he's betting on exhaustion. On a divided West, a distracted White House, and a peace process that never quite arrives.